Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another Pick My Book video where you select one of my physical TBR books for me to read in the upcoming month. We'll also be doing my new genre project. We'll be picking a subgenre out of my new genre project bowl. Yeah. And I will be getting back into the Kindle roulette pick as well. So at the end of this video, once everybody has voted for their pick, I should be walking away with 5 books to read in the month of June. I've been trying to shake things up. I've been trying to make this Pick My Book experience kind of unique, kind of different each and every month. Last month, I presented you with books that didn't win the TBR tournament in order for you to pick a wild card for me to read in the month of May. And the month before that, I picked an author, and based on your choice, I read the physical books that I owned by that author. So this month is no different, doing something a little bit crazy. I'm not going to tell you what these books are. Get ready. You're about to pick what I read in June based on a short excerpt from each book. I'm not going to tell you the title. I'm not going to tell you the author. The only thing that I will tell you, whether you feel like it's a hint or not, is that all of these are recently hauled books. They're books that I have acquired very recently, and I'm excited about each one. So let's get into it. I'm going to read an excerpt and tell you the number of the book, such as book 1, book 2, etc. And then down in the comment section below, you let me know which one you like the best. I'm not turning to any particular page. I'm just opening the book randomly and finding something that I think is suitable to read. I'll be doing my best to avoid people's names, place names, any clues or indication as to what the book might be. So just to make it as difficult as possible. But based on the writing style, you might be able to determine genre, which could lead you to pick a book or not. You might be able to determine subject matter, which would help you pick a book. I don't know. You pick a book however you want to pick a book. But I'm going to read an excerpt from each one. And here's what I'm reading from book number 1. I'd read somewhere that it took 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. Writing was different. Too vague a something for 10,000 hours to add up to much. Maybe 10,000 hours of lying in an empty bathtub brainstorming added up to being an expert on brainstorming in an empty bathtub. Maybe 10,000 hours of walking your neighbor's dog, working out a plot problem under your breath, would turn you into a pro at puzzling through plot tangles. But those things were parts of a whole. I'd probably spent more than 10,000 hours typing novels, those published as well as those cast aside, and I still wasn't an expert at typing, let alone an expert on writing books. Because even when you'd spent 10,000 hours writing feel-good fiction and another 10,000 reading it, it didn't make you an expert at writing any other kind of book. So that's book number 1. This is fun. I like it. I love it. All right. I'm being very careful not to put the book in the frame, but here is book number 2. The pipes sing, a steady chorus of knocking. Is it the heat coming on? It's cold. I blow into my hands, touch my face. Nervous sweat forms a damp crown at my forehead. It must be the heat coming on. There is nothing in the walls. There is nothing in the bathroom. There is nothing under my bed. I get up, cross the room, peek inside the bathroom. Empty. I turn off the TV. Check the thermostat. It's at 60 again. This thing has been funky ever since I got here. It's busted. I turn it up to 72. I yawn, fumble around for a bottle of water in the mini fridge. They'll charge me $8 for it, but I'm buzzed and thirsty, so I don't really care. I would pay $20. I slam back the water and put myself in bed. The knocking hasn't stopped, though. It's even louder, more consistent. As I listen now, it's more of a scratching. I close my eyes and try to sleep, but it doesn't let up. It's driving me crazy. Shut up, I tell the walls, and they seem to listen. The scratching fades. Instead, I get a new sound, like a door handle jiggling, like a lock being jimmied. And I see it. I see the door handle move. That's book number 2. I am sadistic because this is super fun. All right, moving right along to book number 3. Well, this is interesting. This was real, wasn't it? She got out of bed. She needed to be among people. She couldn't stand being pregnant, she mused as she dressed herself in such a hurry that she didn't bother to call her maid for help. She hated the idea that the child would have to somehow wrestle its way out of her at the end, like a demon being exorcised from its victim's body. Wasn't that human birth? She snatched a black shawl from the pile in her trunk. She was in mourning, after all, not just for Teddy, but for her former self, the one who played and studied and socialized and flirted, the girl who'd been alive with possibility, all of it ahead of her. Strange, terrible how you could turn a corner from young and vibrant, and on the brink of everything, to being tired all the time, stretched tight like a balloon filled to bursting. She made her way to the bedroom door, just as her husband was rolling over with a yawn, beginning to stretch. That one's interesting. That one intrigues me quite a bit because I know what book it is. And so that one's weird. That's book 3. And this one is book 4. Let's see what we have. Oh, this is in an interesting format. He was slow because of his limp, the result of bad medical care when he was a child. He was slow because when God was passing out brains, he was at the back of the line. That's what his father had always told him. Some people got seconds, but you just got scraps. He walked down the hall, foot dragging, giving the same answer about the graffiti to the students who pestered him. I don't know. I just don't know. So he was lame and dumb, but it never bothered him. The world just moved along at its own pace. The kids marked up the walls, and he wiped them clean. The kids threw paper on the bathroom floor, and he picked it up. I may be white trash, but you're dumb white trash, and that's worse, his dad liked to say. Everything as it should be, but not today. Today would go horribly wrong. Trying to leave you guys in suspense, in some form of suspense. So that was book 4. And here's your last option, book 5. Let's see what I can come up with. Well, this should be interesting. The corpse was pulled clear of the water. Remains of old boots flapped around the ankle bones, rubber soles held together by scraps of leather and metal grommets that glistened. Thin strips of blue-black fabric interspersed with tendrils of dead weeds weaved between ribs. At the top of the body, flopped against the right shoulder, the skull rested on the broken neck. On the surface, the black hood that had covered the skull was clearly nothing but shreds of decaying cloth. The shreds clung damply against the sides of the skull, but the empty eye sockets and the full set of teeth were unobscured. One of the divers put his hand gently on the back of the skull and lifted it so that the head aligned more naturally with the spine. It was a pointless effort, but a tender one, and for some reason, it was the thing that made Aaron look away. All right, them's your options, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know down in the comments section which book, based on those really short snippets of book, you would like to most hear more about in the upcoming month. Now we'll move on to this puppy. This is a bowl full of 125 subgenres of genre fiction. Not all of them, just 125 of them. If you haven't watched it, I will leave the link to the video where I explain this bowl, and you should go check it out. So I'm just going to mix things around with my hand and then pull one of these subgenres out. The subgenre that I pick, I will read 3 books from that subgenre next month. No matter what it is, here we go. I'm so nervous because it could be any subgenre, whether I have any experience with that one or not. It could be one that I think I hate, and I'm still gonna go for it. Oh. Well, I was encouraged at first, and then I got a little discouraged. So the genre is romance, and the subgenre is science fiction. So I have to find 3 science fiction romance novels to read in the month of June. have I ever read a science fiction romance novel? Like, when I was coming up with this genre project, obviously 125 subgenres, some of them I've read, some of them I read very frequently. And I was thinking, oh, well, you know, sometimes I'll get by easily because there'll be books I read all the time. So I got a little overzealous when I saw romance because now I'm freaking out about the sci-fi part. But I will figure this out. And I probably won't check back in with you at any point to tell you which books I've chosen. You won't know until I've actually read them. But absolutely, if you have any suggestions for the genre that I pick every month, so in this case, if you know of a great romance that also happens to be a sci-fi romance, leave those down in the comment section below. I'm going to need all the help that I can get with some of these because some of these genres, seriously, I have zero experience in. So this is going to be fun. This is good. This is good because it's starting me out easy. It's easing me in, but it's still kind of exposing me to something new. So we're good with that. Now, one final matter of business is to do the Kindle roulette. And when I sat down to film this video, I grabbed my Kindle. I was all so excited and ready to go. And turns out it is dead. So I am going to cut to a screen capture video of my actual computer. And we'll pick my Kindle roulette book that way. And hopefully I'll better plan next month and we can actually do it on my Kindle. So, okay, here we go. So we are in my desktop version of Kindle, and this is my Kindle library. I'll go ahead and refresh it just to make sure that it is complete. Look at that. 1,900 books in my Kindle library. Now, those are not all unread, but you know what? A lot of them are. We're not going to talk about that. So I can sort by title, author, or recently acquired titles in this version. I'm just going to stick with recent. Okay, so let's do, I don't know, 5 good scrolls, and then I will pick a title that appears on the screen after those 5 scrolls. So I'm getting way more options on this desktop version than I do on my Kindle, so this should be interesting. But all right, 5 scrolls. And then I'm going to just advance it a little bit so that it's even. So these are a lot of options, a lot of steamy options, it looks like. Dang. Okay. And then like one really Burn the Dead by Stephen Jenkins. It looks like it's a quarantine novel. I'm going to go ahead and skip that one for sure because it's just not a great time for that. So I've already read Thousands by Pepper Winters. So, I mean, that is completely out of the running. Let's see what else we have. Authors Marianne Jordan, Claire James, Ernie Lindsay, Kylie Gilmore, Nikki Chase, Holly Hart, Sarah Mayberry, Anika Martin. I mean, none of them are really jumping out at me as super recognizable. That's such a popular stock image right here. That's on a lot of different romance covers. And I just drew romance science fiction out of the genre bowl for my genre project, but I can't say that any of these look like romantic science fiction or science fiction sci-fi romance. I could be wrong, but they just don't. I got a Western in here, Tanner. Okay, I'm just going to randomly pick one because I don't want to look all these up. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm just going to go with Impossible Roommates by Claire James. This one up here at the top. That will be, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. That will be the Kindle book that I read in the month of June, along with whatever book you've chosen out of the snippets that I read to you. And also I got to hunt down 3 sci-fi romances. Okay, there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you can help me out with any sci-fi romances down in the comment section below, I will appreciate it very much. I had a lot of fun this time around. I'm really looking forward to doing these things every month, just so you know. And I hope you enjoy getting a say in what I read. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.